Hello, everyone. My name is Ekaterina Kardakova. I'm an opera singer, voice, and public speaking coach. And this is my podcast, The Sound of Success. In this episode, with my guest, Poornima, we want to discover how important is your identity. And first of all, why is it so hard to change your identity? Why is it so hard to listen to your inner voice instead of fulfill other people's expectation? Or why is it so hard to have the courage to change your life? So, Purmina, and thank you very much for joining me today. I was so excited by, or also interested in your posts when I, found you on LinkedIn that you're always talking about don't be afraid of changes. And this finding your identity means that you have the inner settings and you can change it. It doesn't mean like that you have to do the same stuff, the same job, or live in the same city for the whole year. You can change it. And you are also an artist. You've worked in fashion design for so many years, and also you created your academy and you wrote a book, The Compliment Code, where you tell about how to change these inner settings to find your new identity if you want to create something new, or maybe you are not happy with the life you're having today. So this is the topic of our conversation today. Thank you very much for joining me today. My first question to you is, you wrote the book, and usually people say that for writing a book, you have to experience it by yourself. How was it for you? When did you have this intention, the impulse to write a book, to share your knowledge with other people and motivate people to have the courage for changes?
First of all, thank you very much, Ekaterina, for having me. I'm delighted to be here and initiate this conversation with you. I was actually amazed at your profile, being an opera singer and also doing so many other things. So I was really fascinated by your profile, and I'm really happy to be with you here. Yes, so the reason what motivated me to write the book, and absolutely like what you say, it really comes from your own self. What I would have loved to have had this book when I was growing up as a child in Sri Lanka, where, I grew up in a war torn country. We had a 30-year-old civil war. So we had to grapple with all sorts of issues involving the war when I was growing up. So, I mean, it was not special for me. It was our whole generation. We had to all go through that. So, I think when you are faced with that kind of challenge in your immediate environment, you go even deeper into yourself. I think you as a human being, you kind of like go even deeper into yourself and really bring out courage and imagination, different inventive ways of looking at life, dealing with life, even resilience. So Sri Lankans are, I think, probably because of the war that we went through for 30 years, we're very resilient people. And if you meet Sri Lankans go to Sri Lanka, you see that people are smiling and they're always the first to help one another. We don't have any war, by the way. Now it's perfectly peaceful and safe to travel as well. So yes, so that was my background growing up in Sri Lanka. And probably I was a very imaginative kid, and I would read a lot and just create all these stories and colorful stories in my head. And yeah, so, and I used to write even as a kid, but not books, just my ideas or thoughts or journals and things like that. So yeah, so I think the concept of the compliment code was instilled in me as a child, where I observed my own mind and saw like how does it get affected by the people around me or the environment I go into, and how sometimes I can add something to my environment. If I bring a positive energy to my space, I notice that it can help if people feel troubled, it can help others around me. So I did observe those things when I was growing up. But I have to thank Germany. That made me a writer, also explore a different part of myself because I don't speak the language yet in Germany. I've been here for 2 years. No excuse. I'm learning the language. But when you don't, what I discovered was when you don't speak the same language as in your environment, what I found was your other senses start getting a little bit more heightened, like your non-verbal cues, non-verbal cues. So because you want to know what's going on around you, so you're a little bit more alert. I think. So because you observe people's faces, facial impressions, expressions, their nonverbal cues, the emotions in the room or the space you go into, because you don't have the luxury of understanding the words. So you're trying to understand with your other senses. So I think my senses got a little bit more heightened in that way in Germany. So and those observations became concepts in my mind, thoughts in my mind, concepts. And then suddenly I found myself writing some things down. And then one fine day I just realized, and I think I told my husband, Lan, just, I think I'm writing a book. And he was like, oh, really? So that's how it came up basically about my observations that turned into concepts about how we can improve our identity, our sense of self-worth, identity, even recreate some things, especially when if you feel like you have insecurity or low self-worth, yeah, in you, how to build yourself up and how to redirect your life. So that was how the compliment code was born.
So basically, you have your own experience and reflect on it to help other people. This is, my late episodes, we pretty often also were talking about migration because in the world we have a lot of migration nowadays. And of course, this imagination picture, what you think it will be look like, and the reality are a little bit different. And as you say, firstly, because in the new environment you lose confidence because everything's so new. Yeah, it starts with the language. You don't understand the language. You don't understand everything. You don't understand how people communicate with each other. Everything is new, and you lose your old identity. You have to create your new identity and build up your confidence and self-worth in a new environment. And I've been there many, many years ago because I came to Germany when I was 18. And good thing, of course, when you're so young that you didn't build so much in your home country yet. So you cannot compare how it was. So I was a child, a teenager. I was wild and free with not
Yes.
a big package of experience. So basically, my whole experience I made in Europe, and it was a little bit easier. However, when a person decides to create this new identity in a new country with new people, new environment, new job, maybe, right?
Yeah.
However, it's not always so easy. And to start from scratch in this
Yes.
stressful situation is it takes so much energy, time, and inner strength. So, what do you think? What is the point when you have to decide, like, okay, now I have to build everything from scratch. I have to find my inner strength to do this. What is the switch? Because some people, get unfortunately into this apathy and depression instead of saying, I take it as a challenge. Yes, it's hard, but it also means new opportunities. What do you think?
Yes, Ekaterina, absolutely. That's a fantastic, I think, question and a very it justifies a really multi-nuanced answer. And just before that, I just want to mention again another motivation for me to write the book was when I read some articles from the newspaper or the internet, and it was I think WHO which said 46% of Europeans have some kind of depression or anxiety, depression, and 1 billion people around the world suffer from mental health issues. So that was also another motivation for me. Like I was like, oh my God, if I learned some things to how to make my mind brighter and do different things, even despite a lot of challenges, different challenges in my life. So what little thing can I give the world out there? So that so going back to your fantastic question about yeah, that how why is it so difficult to like get in touch with your authentic self and to recreate yourself or to and take it as a challenge, especially as an international moving into a different world. There are many challenges. So why it's so and there's that kind of like fear factor. There's a like, oh, I can't change myself, or there's you lose a lot of energy just in that process. So there are many reasons I would say from looking at one thing is in terms of there is that little bit of a void when you move to a new country. I would say you need at least some time to be in that space where you haven't really built your new identity, but you're also letting go of your past identity. So there's like a space, like a void, or where something is not yet created, but the old you is also going away. So I think that is the most scariest part because our ego, our self identity is about who you are, right? It's about what you have achieved. Oh, I'm a fashion designer, or, I'm working in this big corporate company and I have my network of people and I'm known in my social circles, things like that. So when you go from that to a new country, people don't know you. You become unknown. So so all those what you built up, you feel that it's like a paradigm shift. So that is the scary thing about humans because we love to we have to have our identity to how you face the world. The confidence is usually built from that. So
So
that
basically,
is
can I ask a question? Basically, if I understand correctly, people are so afraid to lose the ego, right? Because the ego means here I am, here who I am, this is the environment I'm used to, and I have kind of, space there, my own part, and I know what I do. So the biggest fear is losing the ego, right?
yes, yes, absolutely. So if you look at like what is the ego? So ego is the self identity you've created for yourself, right? And I think like also now with the ego, I want to say that it's fine to have an ego. All humans have ego, and it has its purpose because when we face the world, you got to have your self identity. Now, if I don't have now, this is Poornima, and I'm a fashion designer, and I've done these things, and you should be proud of what you have achieved also in your life, and the courage and the work that you have put in to build your life. You should be proud of it, and so there is a part that the ego has to play in life also. So it's not like you don't have no ego because it's good to have a healthy ego. You should be proud of who you are and what you stand for. It's just that you don't need to always operate from your ego. you can be vulnerable. You can, that's when you can be sensitive. You allow yourself to feel, and you allow yourself to do different things also. So that is the thing with the ego. So the ego also protects you sometimes when you have to face sometimes unsafe situations in life, when you face people, if you feel like this person is may not be that good for you, so the ego can suddenly take the front stage and be a little bit more assertive. But you don't need to go through life all the time with your ego in front of you. So to be a vulnerable human being, to be a sensitive human being, you can sometimes keep your ego to the side. So that is what I feel is good, so that you're open to things, you're more receptive to life. And yeah, so, and also in terms of playing roles, or how we create these personas, that's also because we have, human beings are fascinating beings. We have very different roles, that one person can play very different roles in life, right? We can be a mother, a sister, a daughter, an artist, an opera singer, an IT specialist, a business a builder, a CEO, can be all in one person. So we play many different roles. So the ego also has a little bit part to play in this, I feel, to create these identities. But the main thing is, I think you don't have to be identified by any of these roles also. We take it you wear a nice outfit, but you're not defined by that outfit. You're something much deeper, much bigger than any of the roles that we play in life as well. So when you have that understanding, it's kind of a little bit easier, I guess, to change the outfits when you need to. So I think moving to a new country is a great opportunity to do that, because that your persona, you can't be with that same persona. You are forced to change yourself. So, and yeah, so it's a great way to observe, and you'll observe different talents coming up that you didn't before, because you had to be one persona, and now it's completely like a open to some other explorations about your personality. And we are multidimensional, like we are multi-talented people. So sometimes when you're put to the test, some new talent will come up that you didn't even know that you had. And that's one of the things that I realized for myself as well. The writing talent or skill was something dormant that I had as a child, but I didn't really truly explore it as an adult. And so that came up again when the almost like when the canvas was a little bit clear. So I had the space in my mind to for other things to come up than my usual repertoire of skills. So yeah, so it can be a beautiful exploration of your different talents that you have dormant in you also.
What would you
Yeah.
recommend, or give three maybe, or three recommendations to people who want to start something new, to build a new identity for a new themselves, like he self or she self? Where to start?
Yeah, that's a cool question. So I would say three things. So let me think. So I would say first start with your observe your inner voice. So that is your think of your inner voice as your best friend. So we can let go of partners, friends, enemies, or colleagues, or we can just let them go somehow. But we can never let go of our inner voice. That's there from the moment you are born until we pass away from this life. Your inner voice is your closest ally in life. So if your inner voice, so that is like what you say to yourself, if your inner voice is telling you, like belittling you, complaining about things about you, or just putting yourself down, oh, I can't be this, I'm not good enough, or you did another mistake. If your inner voice is constantly giving you negative feedback, then you're caught up in that. That will have a negative impact on how you build your life, how you hold yourself, and how you walk through life. So imagine it's like having the worst partner, living with your worst possible partner, is because it's constantly, you cannot let that person go because it's in your mind. So first observe, I would say, your inner voice through the day. And I have some tips in the book, like how to do this process. It's an easy process. Observe that and see what your inner voice is telling you. And there's usually repetitive loops, what I call the unmantras. If it's negative things that you keep telling yourself, then first observe that. And there are ways to make your inner voice a strong, it has to be your best cheerleader, pretty much. So that keeps feeding you positive things. It doesn't have to be fake things, but things positive to yourself, that you build yourself up. That's really important. And the other thing that I observe, especially with people, and it's kind of connected with the inner voice as well, is that we don't, if somebody compliments you, don't put it away, don't dismiss it. And we are sometimes trained that you have to be humble. It's a beautiful thing to be humble, to have humility in you, but there's a difference between being humble and also minimizing yourself. So if somebody compliments you, you don't have to say, oh no, I'm not that, or like, don't, because that you have, because then the universe is like, okay, you don't want to be this good thing, then I will take it away. So if somebody is complimenting you, just accept it gracefully. Just be gracious, and you don't have to overdo things, but you also can accept a compliment gracefully, and because that is, you're encouraging your being, what you're building up, and also you're acknowledging something positive that someone told you also. And yeah, and also that in the mind, what happens is, you train your mind to observe good things then, and train your mind to observe good things, not only in yourself, observe good things, like simple beautiful things around you as well, in people. You'll start to notice then, when you start accepting compliments, if you're not accepting compliments, you start to notice that you will do the same to others as well. Usually you will start observing deeper, more beautiful things around you. So that, I would say, is something, as a practice, you can start training one's mind. And the other thing is, make as many friends as possible, and create, especially I think it's really vitally important, if you move from your comfort zone, to be open to making friends, and make friends even in different spheres that you usually don't. Like if you are an artist, for an example, of course you have artist friends, but make friends with different spheres, like tech people or helpers in the supermarket, or different in your sphere. Just so as you open up your life and create this, what I called, open up your field of connectivity, the quality of your life will improve, because we are constantly exchanging energy with each other, right? We are now exchanging energy with each other, ideas, and that makes your life richer. So the more people you have to exchange ideas, exchange energy with, the more richer your life will become. And that is just one huge way of improving your mood, improving your emotions, and that will help to improve your self-worth as well. So yeah.
Beautiful. This is beautiful. Thank you so much. For those one who listened and watched us, of course, I will leave the book in the description and also contacts of Poornima on LinkedIn. You can contact her and ask questions. Maybe if you have some questions, you also can ask questions in the comments. We are happy to answer them. Poornima, thank you so much for your ideas, and I really like and appreciate your time, and I really like how you do it with such a warm energy, which I've got now from you by listening to you and your ideas. I think that it's important that we learn to create new identities through our lives and have the courage and have people who can help with that. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Ekaterina. It was an absolute pleasure, a delight to meet you in person, and also you've created a beautiful space to for these thoughtful questions and these thoughtful exchanges to happen. So thank you for that depth that you bring as well, and I look forward to connecting with you even more in the future.
Me
Thank you so
too.
much.
Me too. Thank you very much. And thanks a lot for the watchers and listeners for your thumbs up. Share this video, subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next episode. Thank you.